What's important about being proud to be a Muslim? Find out in a few moments. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Youth Talk. I'd like to welcome Sheikh Assim Al-Hakeem, our guest in the studio today. It's a pleasure having you with us, Sheikh Assim.
Same here.
I'd also like to welcome my guests. I have to my left Marwan, who is a corporate lawyer, Mustafa, who is a translator, and Tariq, who is a student at the Academy of Art. Sheikh Assim, we're talking about being proud to be a Muslim. How can one be proud to be a Muslim? What is the importance? Let's start off with, what is the importance of being proud that you're a Muslim?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa man ihtada bihudah. Pride is an important thing for any human being to keep on living. Anyone can be proud of what he does or can be proud of what he believes. Otherwise, there's no value to the things that he's doing. For example, if you go to a janitor who cleans up buildings after the people have gone home, who cleans up offices, if he does not have the pride in what he's doing, he's not going to do it effectively. Now, going back onto the broader sense, Muslims have to be proud of being Muslims for a number of reasons. For example, Allah Almighty says in the Holy Quran, there is no one better than he who says good things and does good things, calls people to Allah and proclaims, says that he is a Muslim. There is no one better than this individual. So it is essential for a Muslim to be proud of being a Muslim. And the reason of this pride comes from a lot of different angles. For example, a Muslim is proud of being a Muslim because he knows that his religion is the authentic religion worldwide. Our authenticity in what we believe is documented, and all historians believe it to be authentic and accepted. For example, no prophet, no messenger of previous religions has his biography. We do not have any biography of any of the messengers of Allah. We don't know except few details about what they preached and what they did. While if we look at the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we know exactly what happened since his father Abdullah married his mother Amina till the day he died. Every single detail. A Muslim is proud because his book that he believes in, the Quran, is exactly the same as it was revealed on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nothing has changed, and no one can have this claim anywhere. No religion could come forward and say, well, this is my book, it has not been altered, it has not been changed. A Muslim can be proud of being a Muslim when he talks about his religion and his belief. What does Islam tell you to do? If you look at Islam, you will find, if it's at a scale of 10, or maybe far greater than that, if it's out of scale of 1,000, you'll find that 999 points of it is logical, it's acceptable universally. And only one out of 1,000 that may be disputed. What does Islam tell you to do? To worship one God. Everybody on earth feels the urge to worship one God, and they feel it in themselves that this God is in heaven. So whenever they are in a problem or in a crisis, they just, with their hearts, go upwards. They don't go to a place here on earth. It's by nature. Islam tells you to be kind to your parents, your brothers, sisters, your children, your neighbors, your community, to everyone else. Islam tells you not to fornicate, not to drink something that makes you lose your mind, like lots of the intoxicants, alcohol and so on, because it makes you behave wrongly. It tells you not to steal, not to kill, not to slander people, not to talk about women who are who have a good reputation by slandering them or saying bad things about them. It tells you so many positive things. And all what Islam teaches is in the interest and the benefit of humans. So if you believe in Islam, then you are definitely proud to be of being a Muslim. That is why it is important for you to acquire the knowledge that tells you about your religion. This itself gives you the pride of being a Muslim.
To acquire the knowledge and about
the Quran and Sunnah. Because if you don't know what is Islam, what are you going to be proud of? But just because we have my father and mother are Muslims, because all those I know are Muslims, this is not a reason to be proud of. But once you know the essence of your religion, then you have something to hang on to and to be proud of.
Yes. So, Mustafa.
Excuse me. Okay, thank you. First, I'm just asking, how can I be a Muslim while most of the Muslim community nowadays are supposed to be illiterate, live in the darkness of science?
How can you be proud to be a Muslim?
Oh, sorry. How can we be proud of being a Muslim while we see the case of all Muslims all over the world? They are illiterate, they don't have much technology, they live in the darkness, they don't have anything to be proud of. I am proud of being a Muslim, as a Muslim, but the other person, how can I speak to other persons about Islam? What am I going to say to him about Islam beside the teachings that most of the Muslims do not apply, unfortunately?
Okay. First of all, we have to segregate between modern science, civilizations, and being proud of being a Muslim. You said that the majority of Muslims are living in darkness, and this is unacceptable at all. Our Prophet, our Messenger, was sent to humanity to take them out of darkness into light. So the Islamic concept is darkness is worshipping other than Allah. Even if you have the means to reach outer space and to invade the whole universe, even if you have weapons of mass destruction or nuclear bombs, whatever you consider to be part of modern science and civilization, if you are not worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal, then you are in the darkness. So let's get this thing cleared out. Coming back to the laymen, those who are living in rural areas and who do not enjoy modern technology, who do not have access to internet, DSL, broadbands, or whatever, who do not have cell phones, they can be proud of what they have. And this is a very important issue, because a lot of the Muslims think that in order for them to be proud is to be or to live in the same standard of living as the Westerners do. And by saying the Westerners, we have a lot of Western Muslims. So whenever I use this terminology, I'm not meaning those who live in the West. They could be living in the East. It's meant that the non-Muslims. It is very difficult, and actually it's impossible at some times, for us to reach the level of technology and modern science that the non-Muslims have. And no matter how hard you compete, they'll always have the edge over you, because it's their science nowadays, though it was originally ours, but they always have the edge. So it's very wrong to be proud of what you're learning or what you're trying to reach in modern technology and in sciences. You cannot be proud of this because they're always a step ahead of you. What you have, they don't have, which is Islam, which is the ethics, the values, traditions, the livelihood of our religion, the dynamic of our religion that fits all times and all locations. This is what you are proud of, even if you are a nomad. If you are a Bedouin in the desert with camels, with tents, you are proud of your generosity, of your honesty, of your commitment to the Quran and Sunnah. You are proud of being sure that in this vast desert where no one is watching you, you wake up in the middle of the night, just before or just at the break of dawn, no one is watching. You go and perform ablution, you face the Qibla, the direction of Mecca, and you pray for Allah Azza wa Jal. This what makes you proud. No one is forcing you to do this. No one is going to reprimand you or punish you if you don't. When you prostrate to Allah, when you put your forehead on the sand, no one is watching except the Almighty. This is the cause of your pride of being a Muslim.
Tariq?
Well, actually, my question is, what's the characteristic of Islam that makes us more encouraging this way, that we like this way? This way is the right. This way is nothing but this way. Except any other tenet, you understand me?
Yeah. See, everyone is proud of what he believes.
Yeah.
So a Christian, a Jew, or any other follower of any religion has to be proud of what he believes. And by default, a Muslim is proud of what he believes. Now, it's not our job to go and criticize other religions, because it's endless. Like in India, you have like 2,000 religions and it's counting. And whoever wants makes a religion. It's just okay for them. But if I spend my time and effort, ridiculing or criticizing or trying to pin out the bad things in other religions, it's going to take my time and effort on vain. It's nothing that is highly recommended or even recommended at all. We are proud of being a Muslims because of what our religion teaches. That's why the best way to show our pride to the people is by practicing it. And then by them comparing their religions to ours, they'll find that there is a reason for us to be proud of.
But practicing it in the true sense.
Definitely. Because you could practice Islam in a wrong sense. You can do things that are not even logical. There are some cults that beat themselves with chains and knives and end up bleeding. And what is this? Does this relate to any logic? Definitely not. Is it mentioned in the Quran and Sunnah? Definitely not. So I cannot accept this. And others don't accept this because it's not the teaching of the Quran or of the Sunnah. So you have to be a practicing Muslim, and whatever I do, I always have the evidence here with me. I've got the proof from the Quran or the Sunnah. Whenever I do something, I expect people to come up to me and say, why did you do this? And I have my answer ready for them.
Marwan, as a lawyer, do you think that the proof of the importance of Islam and that makes somebody proud to be a Muslim, do you think that the proof is something that's important?
Okay, I'll speak into two topics here. First of all, how is Islam evidencing to the truth? This is first. For anything in the world, to state anything in the world, you need proofs. So these proofs have to be logic and have to be existing practically. The second thing is how is the incentive varied from one person to another being proud as a Muslim, or about his religion, how to be proud that I'm Muslim. This varies from one person to another. So these are the main two topics. First of all, as a proof, it's the only religion in the world, not compared to the others, but from general readings and general beliefs, it's the only religion in the world that is very convincing to the mind, and that never lied about anything. everything is true, everything happens. Maybe we don't understand it correctly, but if we read the interpretations of Quran and Sunnah, we're going to understand it quite well, that it is existing and it is a fact. It didn't lie about anything. So it does not take you first to trust in God and then believe His words. No. It takes you to believe, to trust in God through believing His words and understanding them. So it's a very logic religion. Though the book itself, if you studied the book itself, it's a very reasonable book. I mean, if we studied the whole Quran as if it's a simple book and you're reading the verses of the Quran as if it's a novel or something, of course, with the difference between both. But Quran is a very, very convincing message. It is a very convincing message. If you read a verse, for example, if you read a surah now, and you come read it again tomorrow, you're going to understand it in a different way. You're going to feel different. You're going to understand some different things than what you read yesterday, and goes on. That way, if you read the Quran for 100 times, you'll still understand things more. And you'll still see truths that's been hidden to you in the past, and you're seeing it in a different form now. This one. 2, that it never changed. 3, that it will never change. 4, that is guaranteed that it's never going to change, and it will always have conflicts between people interpreting the Quran and the Sunnah. And this is the most, but anything that has a debate has to have a point. So if we're debating about something, then there is something existing. And this thing is very strong to prove that we debated on it. So it stands and exists as a fact, as a very strong fact, that everybody is conflicting in thoughts about it. But in the same channel, but with different interpretations. This one. 2, the second topic is the more you know about Islam, the more you have a strong will and you have a strong belief about Islam. So you get more proud when you know more about your Quran and Sunnah.
You become more attached to it.
Exactly. So if you take it as a default that you're born to be a Muslim, I think this is not enough. You got to go to the Quran and Sunnah, read them very well, and once over and over again, and you'll get convinced more and being proud more. And be able to conduct your thoughts and able to conduct your personality to others very smoothly and likely, and that goes without saying.
Mustafa, there was something you wanted to ask?
Oh yes. Do we have a relation between being proud of my religion and my facial expressions, my movement, when I speak to a non-Muslim person, I have to raise my nose up and just say, I'm a Muslim and I'm proud of being a Muslim. Yes, what I want to ask about Islam and so on. Please answer me.
Well, there is a difference between being proud and being arrogant. Being snobbish or arrogance in Islam is not accepted. In Islam, the Prophet ﷺ told us that he who has the weight of an ant of arrogance in his heart will not be entitled to enter paradise. And this is a grave and major sin. So this is way different than being proud. Arrogance is to look down at people and to refuse whatever truthfulness and right they have. So ignoring them, rejecting whatever right they have is arrogance, and this is not something that a Muslim is being proud of. But being proud of being a Muslim means that you don't feel humiliated. A lot of the Muslims in the West are insulted or feel humiliated when they're asked or told that you are a Muslim. They think small of themselves. So whenever someone asks them, where are you from? So, well, I'm from this country. So, are you Muslim? He says, looks down and says, well, yeah, I'm sorry. But please forgive me.
Just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. You know, no, this is wrong. Here, you have to say, yes, I am a Muslim, with a big smile. And I'm proud of being a Muslim. And you have to be also prepared to any attack that people may have on your belief in religion. So, you are a Muslim, then this means you are a terrorist.
Mm-hmm. The image again.
The image again. So, you have to be equipped with the tools of accepting criticism.
The tools including knowledge. I have good knowledge about my religion, of course.
Without knowledge, you have no case. Because the only thing that remains would be emotions. And with emotions that are not governed and controlled with knowledge, you have chaos. And then you may have an impulsive response that does more harm than good.
Is it shameful to, excuse me,
No, of
but is
course
it
not.
shameful when anybody asks me a question about Islam and I said, I don't know, or I may, please give me time to ask and reply. Is it shameful?
I have done this hundreds of times.
Yeah.
And I find out that the more I do this, the more knowledge I get because I research.
Yes.
Allah Almighty supports me because I'm humble. And my case is better presented to the people, and I've got more credibility with them.
Case, of course.
Because if whenever someone asks me a question, I say, yes, and I keep on talking, and then they find out that I'm full of hot air, I'm on the losing end. And I'm giving a very bad image to my religion. While Imam Malik, one of the four scholars of schools of thought in Islam, we have Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i, and Ahmad bin Hanbal. Imam Malik said that half of knowledge is, I don't know. Half of knowledge is, I don't know. And the other half is answering your question. And it was reported that a man came to him after traveling for a whole month from Khurasan, from an eastern region. And he came to him in Medina with 40 questions from his people. Imam Malik answered only 6 of them. And in the remaining 34, he said, I don't know. So after he concluded his 40 questions, he said, give me a break. I traveled for more than a month on camelback from my people with these 40 questions. What? And you said 30 to 34 of them, I don't know. What do you want me to go and talk to my people and tell them? What is my response? He said, Malik, who is one of the 4 greatest scholars of Islam, said, tell your people Malik does not know. It's very simple. So I'm not going to sell my religion just to answer a question, though I don't know it. It's very easy. This is part of your religion, not to talk without knowledge. Allah Azza wa Jal in Surah Al-A'raf, in verse 33, said that there are 4 things that one should avoid. They are completely forbidden. And at the last, which is the highest of all, is to say on Allah Azza wa Jal without any knowledge. So it is one of the sources of pride to say, I don't know.
It's coming down to knowledge again. The circle tends to go round and round on the issue of knowledge. Is there a certain way to be proud? I mean, how can a Muslim be proud? We know that a Muslim, if he has knowledge, then he has more proof of things, so that when he comes to speak to somebody and says he's a Muslim, he can have his head up high when he's saying it. But are there other ways of being proud? I mean, should you... well, I'll leave the answer to you then.
Unfortunately, it's not only having your head high, because non-Muslims have their heads high. Muslim sinners, like pop stars or actors, they all have their heads high. So it's not the point of having your head high, rather than feeling the satisfaction, the internal satisfaction inside that you are a committed Muslim. And at sometimes, you, being a proud, committed Muslim, have to lower your head down out of humbleness. Now, imagine the Prophet ﷺ, after 20 years almost of fighting and insult from the non-Muslims, of oppression, abuse, you name it, they've done it all to the Prophet and to the followers of the Prophet ﷺ. When he went to conquer Mecca, which is his hometown, he went with an army of 10,000. Now remember, they've attacked him so many times, they've killed his uncle, Hamza, and they ripped up his guts, and they did so many bad things to his followers. He went there as a conqueror. He came into Mecca on his camel, and everybody was shaking and trembling because they knew that it's doomsday. And what did the Prophet ﷺ did? He was proud of being the Prophet and Messenger of Allah. He was proud of being a Muslim. He was proud of being the conqueror of Mecca. Yet, he came on his camel, riding on his camel, with his chin almost touching his saddle. out of humility and humbleness. Because this is not a day of being proud of conquering Mecca. He's proud of being a Muslim, but he is humble to Allah Azza wa Jal that granted him this victory over those who fought him for so long.
We have a break now, and after a few moments we'll be back to continue with Sheikh Assim.
Many people trying to get together, but all their efforts were in vain because of ignoring or turning away from this great foundation. We see many people coming to the way of truth, following the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but later on they get off track. What is the reason behind that? Unity is a result, it's not a cover-up. We have to be united from inside. And Allah made this clear in the Quran when He said, وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ.
Marwan, I'll take you first of all. Are there other examples or situations where one should be proud that he is a Muslim?
Yes. I think for ladies, for example, being veiled as a woman and being stuck with that veil all over their heads in the hot summer, walking around beside, for example, going to the beach with a lot of other ladies wearing bathing suits and sitting getting tanned and stuff like that. How are they going to face the situation? I mean, they're veiled. They're all covered from top to toe, and other ladies are in their bikinis on the beach tanning with their men as well. So, how do they face this?
Well, this is an interesting issue. See, part of being proud for a female Muslim is her veil, because it is her identity, it's her protection from others looking at her, and at the same time, it's a declaration of religion.
What if she feels that she needs to be like the others?
Everyone can do this. I always tell my associates and friends, it's easy to be an uncommitted Muslim. Anyone can be a bad Muslim. Anyone can fornicate. Anyone can go to a discotheque and party and have fun. It is extremely difficult to be committed. It is extremely difficult for you to prevent yourself from doing what you are tempted to do.
But in a society like which we're talking about, everyone's very open, everyone's not strict to this Islam, and a veiled woman walking around in the street like an alien. So that would look a little bit weird. She's going to be faced as well with some phrases and sentences that she's going to hear. So how's that being faced?
It's very easy. It's when you look at it from an outside point of view, it might look difficult for you. But if you ask any sister that is living in the West with her veil from head to toe, she'll tell you that I would not give up this veil even if they gave me the whole world to do so. All the sisters living there are so proud of their veil. They're so proud of being a Muslim, and they are proud of portraying this image of a Muslim woman living in the West, behaving, doing whatever she does, because she is following the commands of Allah and of the Sunnah, of the Prophet ﷺ.
Yes.
And this is not the only thing, because Allah says that the Jews and the Christians will not be pleased with you until you follow them.
Yes.
So let's, try to compromise. Let the sister wear a dress, with a long dress with long sleeves. Is this sufficient for them? Again, how dare you go to the beach and not looking like Baywatch,
Yes.
or for example, whatever. This is unacceptable.
Yeah.
So even if she does wear a decent, and I quote this, a bathing suit, is there a decent?
Let's not deny the fact that some of the veiled women are deprived from some jobs, and are having and being subjected to a certain look that society looks to them, maybe Western society or non-Muslim societies, they receive a very weird look. This one. The other thing is how to help them and how to convince them from our part. For example, if my wife is not veiled, I want to convince her of being veiled because this is fard from Allah. This is a must that a Muslim sister has to do. So if she's my wife, I want to convince her to be veiled because this is the pride of Islam. And this is how to be proud as a Muslim female. And if I'm, for example, searching as a youth now, of a woman, it's another topic. That these are two different questions that I require answers for, please. The other question is, if I'm looking for a woman to marry, and the society does not take in the wedding night, for example, someone being veiled. She's not going to put all this makeup while she's veiled. And if she's veiled, does she have to be veiled correctly without any makeup, without any fannings from the external? So how's she going to apply this practically?
Okay, Karim, keep track of questions,
questions.
I lose track every now and then. Going back to your first question, the sister herself, we have to differentiate between aspects of Islam and Islam as a whole.
Yes.
Now, veil is one aspect, but it's not Islam entirely.
Yes.
So you could be, not you of course, a sister could be veiled sister, but she lies, she cheats, she does so many bad things, she has a bad a tongue, she talks about everybody else. Does this mean she's a good Muslim? Definitely
of course not. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get this straightened up. Coming back to the sister, although she gets weird looks, or although she's deprived of getting a job, a decent job, also does not mean that if she let go, that more jobs will be offered for her, because they will keep on demanding more and more compromises. They don't want this anymore. So you have to show that you are not a Muslim, a real full-fledged Muslim. It's not the veil, it's not the skirts you're wearing, it's your attitude as being a Muslim. Now prove it. Have a drink. Have dinner with me. Let's date. Let's party. Let's socialize. Let's do this. And you keep on doing this and that. And I get a lot of emails from sisters working in the West, complaining that they're not being allowed to have 5 minutes for prayer. And I got this so many times. The sister says, I cannot pray. Can I join noon and afternoon prayers together because my boss doesn't allow me to pray? The answer is no. This is the essence of your religion, prayer on time. And if they give 5 minutes for coffee breaks, if they give lunch hours, if they give you time to go to answer the call of nature, so the least you could do is say, I'm going to answer the call of nature. I'm going to the toilet and pray. It won't take more than 5 minutes every time. So you have to keep on giving in. You have to let go a lot of things that you believe, and at the end of the day, you don't have
You'll
anything.
End up having nothing, yeah.
Yes, nothing to be proud of. No. Again, we come back to the sister. It's not only the veil that you are proud of. You're gonna get a lot of accusations of saying you're an oppressed woman. Muslim sisters are oppressed.
Yeah,
they're forced to sit in the home. You do this, you do that. You don't. And all of this is unacceptable for a sister to give into. She has to have her pride in being convinced of what she's doing.
Yeah.
She is taking care of the most important role in the society, and that is the house, the nucleus of the family. She is giving a safe haven and a comfortable place for the husband.
Yes.
Otherwise, imagine if you have a nagging wife that makes your, well, you're not married, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, that's
Not
good.
yet.
Yeah. If you have a nagging wife that makes your life hell for, let's say, 12 hours a day, and you go out to your work, what's the attitude?
You never really perform correctly.
You're going to kill
Forget
everyone
about it.
next
Forget
to you.
about it. Yeah,
If you have subordinates, you're going to squash them.
Yeah.
And if you have bosses on top of you, you're going to lie and cheat and try your best to, relieve some of the pressure you have.
No doubt that a woman puts the man to the optimum, like he could really kill anyone else, including her.
And it's the opposite, the other way
opposite too,
around.
sometimes.
Imagine when you read in the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, what did Khadija, his first wife, did when he came trembling because of the first revelation he had? She didn't tell him, you came late, where are the groceries? What's wrong with you? No. Immediately, when he told her what he encountered, she told him, have no fear. Allah will not shame you because you are so and so and so. And she started listing the good attributes of the Prophet ﷺ. She's a comfort to her husband, and she took excellent care of her children. And this is why a housewife is so proud of, because she has results. A working woman can be proud also, but look at her results. If the maid is taking care of the kids, if the maid is taking care of the husband, if the maid's going to be the second wife for the husband,
Exactly.
there's nothing she's going to be proud of.
But,
Okay.
Would just like to ask also a question, this main point. What about the political aspects in Europe or in France about this idea about al-hijab or the veil? So
About the Islamic dress and so
yeah, what
Okay.
about how can we deal with such a problem?
How can one provide for females the faith that they should continue to do that despite whatever happens? I mean, is that a situation that there are certain compromises, or should one still stick to her pride in this sense?
Again, we come back to knowledge. It all roots back to knowledge. If the sisters have the proper knowledge to know that it's not their choice. If it were their choice, we would have told them, go ahead and take it off. It's something that Allah Azza wa Jal decreed on them to wear. So if you go to the West or to some countries that prevent the students from wearing the veil, or unfortunately some so-called Muslim countries that prevents women from working in public areas wearing the veil, and I'm talking about the veil that you wear, or a sister wears on her hair, not covering the face. Covering the face is a crime punished by execution probably in these areas. Now I'm talking about just only covering the hair itself. Now, if you go to these countries, you find something that is not logical. A person with good virtues, with righteousness, that try to cover their body from people or from men looking at them is unacceptable. But being nude or topless on beaches is acceptable. Okay, is it only Islam that you are against, or is it all the religions? For example, nuns cover their hair and they wear decent clothing. So why aren't you attacking them as well? Here, you have to be proud of your religion. Christians are proud of their religion. Nuns and priests, they're always proud of their costumes and what they're wearing, because it says that they are followers of this religion. Hindus are the same. Lots of the people are the same. And again, I don't want to narrow the discussion into how you look. Precisely. It's not only my beard that shows I'm a Muslim, although it's an important thing and it's an obligatory thing to do for a Muslim. It's not my appearance only. It's part of it. It's one aspect of it. So even for the sisters that are studying abroad, they have to be convinced that what they're doing is something that Allah Azza wa Jal decreed on them, which means that there is no room for compromise, in the sense that whether it's a choice you have to make, whether you study unveiled or sit home with your veil, the answer would be sit home with your veil. Because it will go on and on.
On and on.
So even if you go to the school, and this happens, a lot of the Muslims say, well, this is not logical. You're telling me not to send my daughter to school to study? No, I'm going to send her to school to study and pursue knowledge, which Islam tells us to do, and blah, blah, blah. he sends his daughter to school, unveiled. And then she is faced with physical education classes. And she has to wear shorts and a t-shirt. Maybe she has to have swimming courses, mandatory swimming courses in that school, where a male teaches her how to swim. So she has to wear a bathing suit. And what else? What else then to be proud of? You are being stripped of everything that you believe in and all the things that you are proud of having. And it keeps on going and going until you wear the cross or the Star of David or whatever.
Mustafa, please go ahead.
Okay, my question is, nowadays most of the people care about the health, the clothes, the education, and after a while the job and the wife for their kids. But nobody thinks about how to bring up our kids in a good religious way and how to make them proud of Islam. Please,
Okay.
I need advice.
Is it wrong? Let me ask you this question, Mustafa. Is it wrong to care about your job, about your education, about your financial status?
No, of course not.
It is part of worship. As long as you are applying the Quran and the Sunnah, whatever you do, whatever you say, it's all accredited to you. So, in this sense, my 9-to-5 job to put the food on the table, as long as I am intending that with the salary I'm getting, I'm being a good Muslim, I'm supporting my family, then I'm rewarded for this 9-to-5 job, if it's a permissible job, that is. So it's not on the top of my priorities to have this and that. On the top of my priorities is to be a good Muslim, which Islam tells me to be efficient in my job, to be good to my to my family, and to upbring my children in the best manner possible. Now, to be able to upbring my children in the best manner possible, this means that I have to teach them Islam.
Yes.
And I also have to teach them how to love and respect their religion. It's very essential for me to teach them how to love the Prophet, to teach them the Quran. Through all of this, they become proud by default. I remember once during the Bosnian War, I had a visit to the refugee camps, the Muslim refugee camps, in order for me to give them support and to give them food and detergents and whatever, and to comfort them of what the crisis they're in, because most of them lost their men and children and so on. In one camp, I met a 6 or 7-year-old child, excuse me, and he was talking to me through an interpreter. And while walking with him in the camp, he saw something sparkling. So he picked it up, and the interpreter told me that he's asking, is this a symbol of, or does it resemble a cross? I said, yes, it does. So the child, who was 6 or 7 years old, threw it as far as possible, saying that I'm a Muslim, and I'm proud of being a Muslim, and I don't like anything that looks or resembles these things, because it's not the Christian that did this, it's the enemies of the Bosnian. But they had...
At the time, that
yes,
resembled them.
Yes. So this is part of being proud and showing your children how to be proud.
Sheikh Hassan, at the end, for all of us to be proud, not just us sitting here, the viewers as well watching, and give us again a little bit of advice about how to be a proud Muslim.
I believe that a proud Muslim has to be a practicing Muslim, has to be a knowledgeable Muslim, willing to share his knowledge with everyone else. You can be a Muslim, a good Muslim, in your own home, but you do not show and glow what you believe to the others, and this is negative. Being proud is being able to communicate to the others what you believe, to receive their criticism, and to refute whatever they're saying that does not fall in line with your teachings. Being proud of your of your religion, of your Islam, is to show the world that this is my religion and this is what I preach, and at the same time this is what I do. I think by spreading the word of Islam, by communicating to people, by teaching them the essence of Islam, is the best means of being a proud Muslim.
Well, I'd like to thank, of course, Sheikh Assim Luqman Al-Hakeem for joining us. It's always a pleasure having you with us on Youth Talk. I'd also like to thank the rest of the participants who are with me, Marwan, Mustafa and Tariq. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back again soon with a new episode of Youth Talk, and until then, all the best from the team here, and Assalamu alaikum.
la 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 la